Thank you very much for having me. Can you see my screen? Yeah.
Yeah, all good.
Okay, sorry, it didn't have that pink line around it, so I was just checking. So I work for an organisation called Sustainability West Midlands. It's already been mentioned. We're a sustainability advisor in the West Midlands region, but we do actually do a lot of work beyond now. We're kind of seeping out as obviously adaptation becomes much more of the work that we do and much more important to local authorities. We're a not-for-profit. We work across all different sectors, but like I say, a lot of the work we're doing at the moment includes with local authorities and other public sector like the NHS. We coordinate and monitor, as far as we're aware, the only existing regional sustainability roadmap. So we monitor how the region's doing with respect to all these different 8 priorities around sustainability. I just thought I'd show you that because just to show you that adaptation to climate change is one of those. So as mentioned, we've produced this free resource. It's a suite of case studies that demonstrate practical action local authorities have taken across England. Where possible, the case studies have included all those things in bullet points there. So there'll be a summary of a project, any of the adaptation outcomes that have come from that. There'll be a focus on co-benefits. We like to focus on making sure that we're talking about other priorities as well, things like net zero, things like health and well-being. Also challenges and reflections and any partners and funding streams if that information is there is in those as well. So hopefully all things that are kind of been talked about already as things that are important to share when sharing best practice. So one example in the resource to give you a feel for this is the Cambridge Canopy Project. Since it's in the document, I'll only go over this one very briefly. But basically, they used awareness raising activities focusing on the benefits of trees. So, see the badges here. There's a helping trees for our well-being, keep us cool, clean air. They had about 8 of those, focusing on all the various different benefits that trees had when doing their canopy project. They used a huge range of platforms. They used Twitter, Facebook, flyers, local newspapers, tags on trees, activity booklets, an interactive website to show where the new trees were that were planted. The awareness raising activities were trying really hard to focus on those benefits because they needed to reassure against the reservations that people have, including things like space around tree planting in streets and things like that, the subsidence that can happen. So they had to do a lot of work to kind of interact, to reassure people around that side. But another thing that they also focused on was fostering a sense of collective responsibility and management of trees. They realised after doing some mapping of where the existing trees were before they started this project that 74% of trees in Cambridge were privately owned, were in private gardens. So this made the council realise that they had to really engage people not only to accept the changes that were happening, but to actually get them involved. So I think that was a really key learning from this one. So we've worked with a range of local authorities since producing that document in 2022. So I just wanted to also pinch some examples from Oxfordshire, who was one of the places we've worked with. We've also worked with Herefordshire Council, Lincolnshire, a range of different local authorities, but I just wanted to pinch these as some community engagement ideas to share with you as well. So Oxfordshire have included kind of community risks within their own risk register, and part of that has been mapping climate-related risks at a parish level. This was so that they could actually prioritize where to focus their efforts when it came to their community emergency plans. The resource is not infinite, so to be able to work on prioritising the different parishes that really needed the help now with producing their community emergency plans was a really helpful thing for them to do. Beat the Heat campaign, you can see there. I wanted to mention this one because of that trusted network side, but that work's already been done for me. Previously talking about why trusted networks are so important. So Beat the Heat campaign focused on using existing voluntary and community organisations to disseminate information about heat waves. And I also just wanted to highlight these heat health alert action cards because if you're not already aware of these are really helpful resources to look at different actions that different sectors can do, including the voluntary and community sector. And they have a flood warning scheme as well. But conscious of time, so I'll just basically say that the biggest things from this were that they use those trusted messengers again. Like I said, they have they've been rolling out this pilot with just 11 volunteers across 3 different areas in Oxfordshire. They've been really helpful for that like hyper local knowledge of the incidences that are happening before and during and after, so feeding into the Section 19s and things like that. But that there are challenges around resource and making sure they maintain those close relationships with the flood wardens before they roll out the scheme wider. So just some challenges to think about and maybe discuss in a bit. But yeah, there's the resource and a QR code there, and I'll share a link in the chat as well.